What's up, everybody? It's good to be back. Today we got a little editing video in store for you. So initially my plans were to do a POV, show you how I was taking the images, and then we would come and do a separate video that would be editing involved. So yesterday I went down to Dumbo, Brooklyn by the piers, and I wanted to take some long exposure images and then do some image stacking to show you guys how we do the editing for all of that. But I forgot my SD card for my GoPro, and I didn't end up doing the POV, so I stuck around and got the pictures, and now we're just going to do the editing portion instead. So to start off, let's open up Lightroom. Alright, and I got a bunch of neat pictures going through here. I mean, these are not finished edits at all, but very cool location. I might do some more stuff, but I think this image right here and the four that I got are the ones that I want to stick with, and they're all shot at 20-second exposures, but we're going to image stack them to kind of make that really creamy looking water. So to start off, let's just go, and we're going to start with my flat fade preset. Alright, so let's start here. It's going to bring down the exposure a little bit. Let's take the temperature up a little bit, and we're going to go to the oranges, bring up that saturation, and we're going to bring the hue down so it's a little bit more orange and punchy. And then next, we're going to play around with some masks, and then we can go back and do some more fine tuning here. So let's start off with a brush, and I really want to lighten up this water. So this is a little bit rough. I'm usually a little bit more diligent with my brush work, but just to show how the process is done, we're going to just expedite the process a little bit. So we're going to bring up the exposure on that. Alright, I'm liking where that is right now, and let's use a linear gradient up on the top because we want the light source to be a little bit brighter. And I like to do that with my images and make the light source brighter just to kind of have some, you know, dramatic feelings and moods to the image. So let's brighten this up a little bit, and we're going to bring it into the image a little bit further, and then let's use another one on the other side to darken up that side, because we really like how the sky is looking, and we want to keep that dark tone because there's not any light coming from the right side. Let's go in there, select the sky, and we're going to bring down the sky too. Darken that up. Alright. And then so I like where we're at so far, but I need to fine tune this a little bit. So we're going to bring down the highlights a little bit so we can still keep that color in the sky a bit. Bring the whites down a little bit, bring the blacks down just to get a little punch, open up the shadows a little bit. Alright, and we're going to play with the blues. So let's make the saturation of the blue come up a little bit, and then the hue. And let's make sure we like where the crop is. So normally I'll just do the auto crop, and I always make sure I check and see if the image is straight and whatnot. But sometimes if you click the auto, like we're going to do right now, it's skewing it a little bit too much to the left, more than I would like. It just doesn't seem balanced to me. So we're going to just do it manually. Let's go back to our masks. I really want the rocks to pop out a little bit, because right now they just look a little dull. So if you use the scroll on your mouse, you can make the brush bigger or smaller. And we're going to go in on all the shadows. And the shadows up here. And what that's going to do is we're going to darken that up, so bring down the exposure. And it's going to create a little bit more depth, and also it's going to make the rocks like look a little bit more 3D. So now we're going to do the same thing but on the light. So let's go to the lighter portions of these rocks, and we're going to brighten those up. And now bring up the exposure, and you can see, like, this is a exaggeration, but when you bring it up, now those rocks are really starting to pop, and you're getting that light reflection on there. And we're also going to use this radial gradient tool. Right click, invert, and we're going to kind of create a little bit of a vignette to make, you know, we want the center of the image to kind of be the focus. I mean, the whole image is the focus, but we want that center to really pop. So let's come back here and let's make that water light up again, and we're going to go all the way around and do that. And we're also going to change the temp a little bit in the water to kind of brighten that up. And we're going to bring the clarity down a little bit just to create some extra haze. Let's come back with that saturation on our oranges, and I'm going to make that a little bit more like a pink sunset kind of vibe. So we're going to bring this to more of the orange instead of the yellow. I like how that's looking. And the skyline's looking pretty good. But let's see if we can just maybe we're going to darken the image just a little bit. So let's darken that. And I'm liking where we're at so far. I think this is a good solid start. So now on my left hand side I have this tone bar. So the tones are different presets that I have to kind of just give an overlaying look to each image. And the way that you can create these presets is going to the color grading section, and you got your midtones, your shadows, and your highlights. And going there, you can now create some presets that just affect those things and nothing else, which is kind of cool to do. So we have the blue, clear, cool. We got some green tones, but I'm going to just stick with orange because that's kind of the vibe of the picture so far. And up on the left-hand side, you can see here the amount. So right now it's at 100, but we can bring it up more, bring it down less, and I'm going to bring it up to like 170-ish. Because I like what's going on. We got a little bit of the blue tones on our right-hand side, and we got some nice orange tones on the left. So I'm liking where the image is so far. The rocks look good, the water looks good, the skyline looks good. Maybe we're going to bring down the saturation just a little bit. And I'm liking that. So now we're going to click the rest of the images. So we have these three here, and these are all taken at the same spot, same exact exposure, same aperture, everything. So let's highlight all four of these, and if you hold down shift and click the images, they'll all highlight together. And then over here you can click sync. So we're going to click sync, make sure the crop's the same, we're going to add all of the masks, and we're going to synchronize. So now that all of these images are synchronized, we're going to now export them into Photoshop. Alright? So let's just take a double look and make sure we like everything. We're looking good. So now if you right click on all four of those images, you're going to go to Edit In, and then we're going to click Edit in Photoshop. But underneath that, you can open up as layers in Photoshop because we want all four layers so we can do the image stacking. So we're going to open up as layers in Photoshop. That's going to take you straight there. So once that opens up, we're going to have all of them load in as layers. We'll see on the bottom right side. Alright. So now that they're all open, we're going to go back to Lightroom real quick. So we're going to highlight only the last image because I really like the sky and how that looks in this one. So same thing, right click, edit in, and then just edit in Photoshop. And I'll show you what that is for later. Let's go back to our original copy. So we have all four opened up here. We have the one up top highlighted, and if you hold down shift and click the bottom one, now all four are selected. And we're going to go here to edit, and then auto align layers. So once you click auto align layers, you're going to see auto, perspective, collage, cylindrical, spherical, all those different options. But for this, all we need to do is just click auto, and it's going to make sure the image is all stacked perfectly together so all the same elements are in the same exact space. Because once we stack it, we don't want things not in the same area. You know what I mean? So now that that is complete, all 4 of them are still selected. We're going to right click and then convert to smart object. And once you do that, it's going to bring everything together. So now it's all in one file. And you can see up here, if we zoom in, we still have some white. So that's just from the auto align. It's just taking a sliver out, but we'll go in and crop that later. Alright. So if you do Command plus and minus in Photoshop and any of the Adobe softwares, that's zooming in, zooming out, just to kind of make it easier. So now that we have this, we're going to go to Layer, Smart Object, and then Stack Mode. When you go to Stack Mode, there's 4 options, but we only need to use the mean because we just want the average of all of it. And what it's going to do is now it's going to blend all 4 images together to create that really creamy, long exposure look. And I know at 20 seconds you get that, but once you add 4 20-second images together, it's going to create an even cooler effect, and it's going to make the water look, you know, like fog, basically. Get that creamy look. So click mean, and now everything is rendered. So you can see the water is got that really nice hazy look, and even in the clouds we have the whole 4 images stacked together, and you have that style of exposure. But like I said before, we brought in that other picture, and I like the sky and how it looked from that last picture a lot. So what we're going to do is now come here, we're going to Command C, copy that image, bring it into this file. Alright, so now it's on top of this one. What we're going to do is use our eraser tool, and now we're going to erase the top image that we just brought in so we can have that nice water that we were looking for. And we're just going to apply that to the bottom of the image. So now when you turn this off, you can see it's only the bottom. Let's make the brush a little smaller. And if you use the bracket keys here, that's how you make the brush smaller or bigger. So brush that all out, and you can see what we got. Alright, so now we have the clouds that we want, we have the bottom image how we like it. So let's just do some fine tuning. I don't really like, if you look here on this corner, that little sliver of the pillar. So we're going to use our spot healing tool and get rid of that. Excuse me for my hiccups. So let's brush that out. Make sure there's no weird shadows or anything. It's all even, and now we got rid of that. And we're going to use the crop tool slightly just to bring in the image a little bit, because before we had those little slivers, so we want to make sure we get rid of those. So bring that in slightly, click shift or enter, and now we're all set. So to bring it back into Lightroom so you can do your exporting, you can do it from Photoshop. If you want to bring it into Lightroom, you can always just do your exporting that way. So all you have to do is just do Command S to save, and it's going to automatically open it up in Lightroom. So we'll see it pop up down here. It's going to give it a couple minutes. So now we have our final image back in Lightroom. So this was that 4th image that we used for the sky, and we have our 3 other images down here, but now we have our final here. So I thought it'd be cool to kind of show you guys a little bit of my process and show you how you could do image stacking with long exposures. I used to do a lot of nighttime photography and long exposure photography when I first started, but you know, with street photography, it's nice to just have your camera in your hand and go, and not have to worry about the tripod and all that stuff. But every once in a while I enjoy coming back and doing this kind of stuff. So this is a little bit of my process and how we do the image stacking. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you want more editing videos like this, please just let me know, and I think we can start working on some of that. I mean, I don't really have a proper studio lighting or anything like that right now, but I think in time I can invest and make some changes so this looks a little bit more professional. But I hope you guys enjoyed the video, and please like and subscribe, comment. Please let me know what you guys are thinking, and I'll see you next time. So peace out. Enjoy the rest of your day, evening, wherever you are, whatever time it is, and have a good one, guys.